All right, going down the list. The best Hunger Games matchup possible. There's me for District 1. I'm teamed up with Henri. And then we got, logically, Garrett and Michael on the same team. Best friends forever, soulmates. They're basically dating. Yeah, no, there this team was forged in iron. Andrew and Bo, both notorious e-boys online, complete chads. We have Bryce and Corey. Apparently, Bryce is not drinking milk in that photo. That's just his hand. Then we get to some of the weirder stuff. We enter the Shadow Dimension with Sam teamed up with Knack 2 on PS4. Sam Sam ready to rob everyone, pretending to be an FBI agent. Then we got the unlikely teammates 4chan and Tumblr teamed up together to take down the world. Then we have Metro Man has a gun with Jesus Crust. What do you think about that one, Andrew? What do you think about that matchup?
Well, I just have to say, I think we all know how Jesus Crust got his pizza.
That's right. No one touches pizza or his blue ribbon. We have Ender Furby teamed up with Enderman. Dangerous creatures here, summoned from the void using eldritch magic. However, they pale in comparison to S tier fish sticks, along with Luigia. Fish sticks, of course, being an aquatic type with fire resistance. Good matchup against the other champions, especially when paired up against Crazy Christ and Pulse's nephew. I mean, of course, Pulse's nephew gets in here. He's gone undefeated. He's gone 8-0 in the WWE scene. His streak has yet to be broken. He's famous for taking down the Undertaker 1v1 in the first minute of the round. Absolute legend. And then of course we have God himself teamed up with Cool Satan. And then finally, we have Markiplier with a big iron. Truly, the Hunger Games of the century were about to proceed. We doing this. The horn sounds. Andrew takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. God runs away from the cornucopia. Enderman runs away from the cornucopia. Of course, Enderman taking advantage of his superior stride compared to the other champions. Blue runs away. Corey takes a bunch of throwing knives. Interesting pick from Corey. We'll be able to utilize those throwing knives later. Bryce runs away. 4chan and Fish Sticks fight for a bag. 4chan gives up and retreats. Logical. You cannot challenge Fish Sticks in the first minute of the round. You can't fight a heavy lifter like Fish Sticks over a bag. It's not worth it. Henri and Luiga. Of course, Luiga using its advanced flight powers to escape Henri's wrath. Very smart there. Ender Furby flees. Pulse's nephew breaks Jesus' crust nose for a basket of bread. Pulse's nephew stole Jesus' crust pizza. He took his bread. Metro Man and a gun threaten a double suicide. It fails. And
Michael's already dead.
I knew we shouldn't have given Metro Man a gun. He's already shot himself with it. Garrett.
Seeing, seeing his soulmate fail a double suicide, Garrett runs away.
And hides. Big Iron Markiplier doesn't need anything. He already has a gun. I grab a shovel. Knack on PS4 runs away. Markiplier runs away. Tumblr runs. Sam runs. Cool Satan runs. Crazy Christ finds a canteen of full water. He needs it because he's thirsty up there. We're going to proceed to the next day. Jesus Crust is being ran away from Bryce. 4chan thinks about home. A bit out of practice there. Blue thinks about home. I practice my archery. Crazy Christ and Andrew split up for resources. Corey, Enderman, Fish Sticks, Luiga, and Knack 2 on PS4 hunt for other tributes. That's just smart for Enderman and Corey there. I mean, Fish Sticks, clearly S tier. Luigi and Knack 2, probably top A tier in this competition. So it's good that they're sticking with the heavy hitters. Tumblr begs Big Iron Mark to kill her. He refuses, leaving Tumblr alive. And then my favorite sentence: Henri and Cool Satan work together for the day. Ender Furby searches for Fireword. Sam travels to higher ground. God is stalking Markiplier. Pulse's nephew travels to higher ground. He needs to keep his eyes out for cheese's crust because he has his pizza. Garrett discovers a cave. Very interesting day. What's your input, Andrew, from the champions' decisions this first day in the Hunger Games?
I feel that with the teamwork of our 5-man group, including Corey, Enderman, Fish Sticks, Luigia, and Knack 2 on PS4, I think we will see a lot of deaths in this next day.
I really do hope so. I think we'll get some very interesting kills in the following days. They'll be moving as a pack, and I think it might just be down to these 5. I currently still have my bets on Fish Sticks. However, Pulse's nephew taking Jesus' crust pizza is quite the feat. So I think he's the wild card in the situation, but we will have to see. We will proceed to the next day. Metro Man has a gun, and Michael are the only ones dead, or the only 2 that are dead. We will proceed. Garrett and Big Iron Markiplier talk about the tributes being alive. Cheese's crust tries to live his life to treat his infection. Fish Sticks and Ethan talk about the tribute still alive. So do Andrew and Enderman. God screams for help. Sam stays awake all night. Corey, 4chan, Bo, and Bo sleep in shifts. However, a separate group, Bryce, Crazy Christ, Pulse's nephew, and Markiplier, sleep in shifts. Luiga, Tumblr, Knack 2 on PS4, and Ender Furby. So it seems that our core group has split up. And it looks like Fish Sticks and Ethan are working together. Very interesting there. Cool Satan dies trying to leave, and Henri loses sight of where she is. Very, very poor play by Cool Satan trying to leave the arena. What do you have to say, Andrew, on this night?
No, I'm very disappointed in Cool Satan. I thought he was going to be a lot more. I thought he was going to be more chill with this situation, and Henri, she just needs to, open her eyes.
Right. Very sad to see that Cool Satan just tried to leave the arena like that and died. A mid-tier player eliminated through such dumb circumstances. I'm with you. Fish Sticks repeatedly stabs Ender Furby to death. That's why you don't deal with Fish Sticks. No one should trust Fish Sticks. It's a very powerful creature. Crazy Christ injures himself. Andrew makes a slingshot. Markiplier and Pulse's nephew hunt for other tributes. Tumblr sprains her ankle while running away from Ethan. Oh gosh.
What you doing there?
Knack 2 on PS4 stalks Henri. God overhears 4chan and Garrett talking in the distance. Meanwhile, Markiplier, Big Iron Markiplier, travels to higher ground. Luiga picks flowers. Interesting tactical decision by Luiga there. Let's see.
Oh, jeez.
Bryce, Jesus Crust, Enderman, and Sam raid Bo's camp while he's hunting. And then Corey searches for a water source. Very interesting. Interesting series of events. Again, you just don't mess with fish sticks. If he has a knife, I don't know what you're doing. Uh, Existing within like a 3 meter radius of him, he is just a force to be reckoned with, a force of nature. Ender Furby should have saw it coming. Proceed to the next day. Of course, Cool Satan and Ender Furby down. Andrew Andrew's best friends with EA and got medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Bo sees a fire but stays hidden. Enderman Enderman questions his sanity. Luiga goes to sleep. Markiplier thinks of home. Garrett thinks about winning. You know what? That's very in character for Garrett. Garrett staying on task here. He knows that he has to kill the other tributes, and he's just thinking about how he's going to compete with everyone else. Tumblr, Corey, Knack 2 on PS4, Sam and Pulse's nephew sleep in shifts. God, Jesus Christ, crazy Christ, fish sticks. I'm I'm sorry. What?
As you can see from this development, our three remaining deities have seen fit to make friends.
No, the four deities are sticking together. A very wise move there.
Now, see, Fish Sticks isn't a deity, but he is extremely powerful, which is why he commands the respect of our three remaining deities.
As we all know, Fish Sticks is an anti-god and is capable of killing immortal beings, which is why God, Jesus Christ, and Crazy Christ were smart in allying themselves with him, since he's the only one that could truly kill them. Very wise move on the deity's parts. Ethan sees a fire but stays hidden. 4chan lets Bryce into his shelter. Big Iron Markiplier accidentally detonates a landmine when trying to arm it. Henri, lucky for Henri, she got some clean water from an unknown sponsor. Very nice. I believe. Alright, day 3. Knack 2 on PS4 makes a slingshot. More clean water for one of our champions, for Jesus Christ. Henri and Luiga work together. Fish Sticks, going rogue, explores the arena. Markiplier scares 4chan off. Enderman begs Garrett to kill him, but he refuses, leaving Enderman alive. God scares Ethan off. I'm not doing it again. Not at least right now. Crazy Christ kills Tumblr with a hatchet. Very interesting move by Crazy Christ. Andrew, Bryce, and Corey hunt for other tributes. Pulse's nephew receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Sam begs Blue to kill him. He reluctantly obliges, killing Sam. She already knows the past. Blimey. So Big Iron, Markiplier, Tumbler, and Sam are all dead. Okay, Knack 2 on PS4, and Markiplier huddle for warmth. Bryce, Andrew, Fiddlesticks, and Henri tell ghost stories to lighten the mood. Pulse's nephew and 4chan talk about the tribute still alive. God and Jesus Crust run into each other and decide a truce for the night. Ethan, Crazy Christ, and Corey discuss the games that might happen in the morning. Garrett tends to his wounds. Blue.
Blue. Yes, like the color.
He gets a bunch of water from the shower that he's in. Enderman defeats Luigia in a fight, but spares her life. Very interesting move by Enderman, dropping the normally completely savage facade he puts up and sparing Luigia's life. Very interesting.
I have a theory for that one. I think Luigia made use of those flowers she picked earlier and arranged a wonderful bouquet for Enderman.
So it was a strategic use of the environment to deflect a possible attack. Very smart. Crazy Christ chases God. Henri questions her sanity. Bryce fishes. Fish Sticks diverts Andrew's attention and runs away. Very interesting there for Fish Sticks. I guess Fish Sticks was never really a professional when it came to social situations. So it was better just to distract Andrew and run away instead of pardoning himself and leaving. Garrett makes a wooden spear. 4chan thinks about home. Knack 4 tries to spearfish with a trident. Markiplier practices his archery. Pulse's nephew and Ethan hunt. Luigia's trap kills Corey. Whoa. Very ambitious from Luigia there. Good kill. Poor Corey. Enderman gets food. Blue runs away from Jesus Christ. Only Corey died. Bryce tries to treat his infection. Crazy Christ loses sight of where he is. I get fresh food. Jesus Crust tries to sing himself to sleep. Fish Sticks uses cheat codes and gets an explosive outside the game. This is the power of Fish Sticks. We're seeing it once here right now. Fish Sticks using the /give command to give him some explosives outside the game. Very dangerous technique. Lucky for him, it didn't backfire in his face. Pulse's nephew shoots an arrow into Henri's head.
That heartbeat sensor coming in handy.
The heartbeat sensor, very effective in a wooded scenario. Blue defeats 4chan in a fight, but spares his life. Markiplier, Enderman, and Garrett discuss the games and what might happen in the morning. Knack 2 tries to sing himself to sleep. Andrew and Luigia talk about the tribute still alive. God, everyone's singing themselves to sleep. What the heck? Okay. Proceed.
Everyone's going insane.
Fish Sticks, again, back with the awkward social situations, just leaves the 4chan site with no explanation. Understandable. 4chan is a bit much even for Fish Sticks. He's an immortal god killer, not a charmer. Of course, God tries to sleep through the entire day. Jesus Crust searches for firewood. Ethan, Markiplier, Blue, and Garrett raid Crazy Christ's camp while he's hunting. Pulse's nephew kills Knack 2 on PS4 for his supplies. Andrew collects fruit from a tree. Enderman thinks about home. Bryce diverts Luigia's attention and runs away. Again, Pulse's nephew is the wild card, is going on a kill streak. Stole Jesus Crust pizza the first moments of the game and has been going on a kill streak. I don't think he's earning some respect for himself. He is growing out of the shadow of his uncle and starting to really make a name for himself. Really ambitious. I think it's in between right now. My favorites is of course Fish Stick, immortal god killer Fish Sticks. But I think second is Pulse's nephew. I think he's he was the underdog, but I think now he's leading in kills. What do you think, commentator Andrew?
I definitely think Fish Sticks needs to up the ante a little bit. We all know he's a lot more capable than he's making himself out to be. And I think God could have used his time a lot more wisely instead of sleeping the entire day like
Definitely,
a college student.
especially when God has access to similar cheat code powers as fish sticks. Of course, on a much smaller scale, but nonetheless, he could have utilized at least some of the time of the day to his advantage, but he decides to sleep through it. Interesting
Also,
decision by God there.
a very impressive kill by Pulse's nephew on Neck2 on PS4.
Absolutely.
Uh,
That cardiac detector, very effective in these situations.
I'm very interested to see what he does next with those supplies.
So, we have Henri and Knack 2 dead. Garrett and Bryce sleep in shifts. Pulse's nephew tries to sing himself to sleep. Blue cannot handle the circumstances and commits suicide. 4chan and God huddle for warmth. Crazy Christ goes to sleep. Markiplier cries himself to sleep. Andrew and Enderman tell stories about themselves to each other. Fish Sticks fends Jesus Crust, Ethan, and Luigia away from his fire. Fish Sticks taking on 3 champions at the same time. Easily contending against these 3 champions. Smart for Jesus Crust, Ethan, and Luigia to move as a group. The only way you can really beat Fish Sticks is with numbers. The Fish Sticks is only 1 man, and if you have 3 on him, it might cause enough of a distraction to the point where he won't be able to cheat in a kill command. But they're lucky that they survived, I think. Fish Sticks clearly just a demigod on this plane, especially with the explosives that he cheated in earlier. Incredibly dangerous.
Very much so.
All right, Crazy Christ and Andrew work together for the day. Bryce throws a knife into Markiplier's chest.
Putting that large hand to good use.
Pulse's nephew sprains his ankle running away from Lugia. It seems there's a bit of a rivalry in between Pulse's nephew and Lugia. Very interesting. Ethan strangles 4chan with a rope. God receives medical... Now, here we go. God, taking advantage of those cheat commands, learning from Fish Sticks, cheating in some medical supplies. Smart move by God there. At least he isn't sleeping around like he was before. Jesus diverts Garrett's attention and runs away. Enderman discovers a cave. Fish Sticks attempts to climb a tree, but falls to his death. A very interesting turn of events for Fish Sticks, the primary champion, the reigning ruler of this game, dies to one of the most classic glitches in the game. The climbing, we all know that the climbing mechanics in this game are notoriously bad. Fish Sticks tries to climb a tree anyway and glitches out of the world, falling into the void below.
I am now concerned.
See, we all knew going in that if Fish Sticks were ever to come to a point where he would need to parkour, he would fail almost instantly. He is not very good at ladder jumps or really anything past single block jumps.
Absolutely. I did see on earlier interviews we had with him, he was practicing his bunny hops, but that clearly wasn't enough as he died to the classic parkour glitch on the tree. Very sad change of events. With Fish Sticks out of the way, who do you think is going to win now? Who's your favorite at the moment?
Well, obviously it's a toss-up between Pulse's nephew and our last S tier character or high A tier character being Luigia.
Right.
The rest of the deities, however, are free to do as they please now with Fish Sticks out of the way.
Absolutely.
So-
They can definitely band together and start taking out the other champions now that Fish Sticks isn't there to hold them in check. Very interesting matchup. If anything, this just makes The mortal characters like Garrett, Ethan, and Markiplier, and Bryce, more vulnerable to the deity's attacks. I don't think I'm super concerned for our digital characters, Enderman, for example, um, and Crazy Christ. But I think things are looking up though. I feel like the battlefield's been leveled a little bit more now that Fish Sticks is out of the way. Just a very sad way for our reigning champion to go.
Agreed.
Pulse's nephew Ethan and Luigia sleep in shifts. Pulse's nephew and Luigia seem to be working together. Ethan, bit of the underdog here. He did kill 4chan and Tumblr, so quite impressive there. But beyond that, I can't see Ethan going too far with this. Jesus Crust and Bryce huddle for warmth. Enderman, Garrett, and Crazy discuss the games. God hums quietly, and Andrew starts a fire. Seems like a normal night. Nothing too eventful there. Andrew tries to sleep through the entire day. Luigia diverts Jesus' Crust attention and runs away. Bryce practices his archery. Pulse's nephew, Enderman, and Ethan successfully ambush and kill Crazy Christ, Garrett, and God. Very interesting turn of events. It seems that Pulse's nephew has absorbed Fish Stick's soul and is using his anti-deity abilities and taking out two of the deities and one of the demigods, one of the demigod champions with the help of Enderman and Ethan. I
Yeah,
think
now that our deity population has been thinned out a bit, I think it's very interesting to see what will happen next.
I believe Jesus Crust is the only person from the deity faction left. The rest are mortal, and from the digital world, we have Lugia and Enderman. Lugia, the only one that really seems to be able to stand up against Pulse's nephew. Very, very powerful fights going on here. I can't wait for the final battle. I just can't wait to see who's the last two standing. Anything can happen at this point.
Definitely a subversion of expectations.
Definitely a mix-up. Andrew and Enderman sleep in shifts. Lugia goes to sleep. Pulse's nephew tends to his wounds. Interesting. So he hasn't fully absorbed Fish Sticks' powers. He was wounded in the skirmish with the other deities. Very good to know. So he's not as powerful as Fish Sticks, but even if you have a quarter of Fish Sticks' power, that's still enough to seriously shake up the battlefield with his power. And then it looks like everyone else goes to sleep. Ethan and Enderman work together to get more supplies. Bryce decides not to go to the feast. Jesus Crust does not go to the feast. Andrew bleeds out due to untreated injuries. Luigia pushes Pulse's nephew off a cliff during a knife fight. Luigia, the underdog through all of this. After Fish Sticks gets again, the bane to all of these insanely powerful characters is the game's glitchy physical mechanics. As Pulse gets clipped into a cliff in the knife fight with Luigia and falls off. I mean, it's clearly now it's in between Luigia and Jesus Crust. Jesus Crust, one of the only deities remaining. Luigia eliminated the main competition in the form of Pulse's nephew. It's down between Luigia and Jesus Crust. Everyone else, the rest of it's just going to be infighting at this point. There's not too much that the others can do.
I definitely think we should have all seen this coming with Luigia. Many might have thought of Luigia as an underdog throughout this whole situation, but we have to remember that Luigia and Fish Sticks do come from the same district, and they have trained together.
That is true. So Luigia, being Fish Sticks' apprentice, avenge her master's death and reclaims his soul from Pulse's nephew by killing him the exact same way that Fish Sticks died, with a gravity glitch. Very poetic there on Luigia. she might earn extra points in the judges' corner with that maneuver there.
Indeed.
Bryce. Bryce, Luiga, Jesus Christ, and Ethan form a suicide pact, killing themselves. The I mean, I am bewildered. But according to this document, Enderman does have hypnotic powers. Was Enderman the secret mastermind behind everything? Was he pulling the strings behind all the mysterious suicides and glitches?
That is very possible. Although that does seem like the most likely answer, because I don't think Luigia would readily give up her chance at avenging her teacher's death.
Right, exactly. Especially when she was so clearly leading in the kill category. Enderman just had to get close to her, and then I guess Luigi was just distressed over her master's death. And Enderman was able to swoop in with his hypnotic effects and take the win under everyone. Enderman wins. Very unexpected. This year's Hunger Games has been very interesting.
Extremely interesting. Yeah, I think this just goes to show that, you know, when we look at the contestants for these Hunger Games, we shouldn't only be looking at the most physically fit people. As you know, Metro Man with a gun and Big Iron Markiplier died fairly early on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and especially you have to use the environment around you to your advantage. Luigia using the flowers to prevent her death earlier from Enderman, I believe it was. And, of course, the various glitches and gravity bugs killing off the big players early on. It's just, I think this main game boils down to map awareness. Being able to maneuver around the terrain, dodging other champions, stuff like that, and just survivability were really key this game, and it paid off with Enderman, especially with his long distance hypnosis. He was built perfectly for this map. Yeah, what a fantastic Hunger Games.
It's been a very interesting end to this year's Hunger Games.
Absolutely.